you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new here, make sure you go ahead, slap that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any future interviews, juicy tea, recaps. Basically, everything on the channel is for the love of DILFS Season 2 right now because that's what my life is. Today is so exciting because we have one of the himbos from For Love of DILFS Season 2, and he's iconic. I've gotten to know him post show and it's been amazing. We did not get to talk a lot in the mansion, so I'm so excited to get into all the tea. What is up, Nick Masc?
What's up? Yay! I hope there's like a applause audio after that. So I wasn't the only
No,
one applauding.
honestly, there's no, this is so not a fancy interview. I wish I had all that, but I'll applaud for you because you're iconic and that will be that.
I was hoping there'd be applause so it didn't sound me like going, yay for myself.
No, I'll applaud for you because I live. We're gonna get started right at the beginning, and this is you would think this is a basic question, but for you, so much of the audience and us as cast members were worried about this, and we were wondering what were your intentions. So, why did you come into DILF Mansion season 2? Let's make it clear for the audience and say I have so much to say about it.
All right, I understand there was a lot of, I think it was the number one thing is like, why is he here? What is he here for? Honestly, I'll tell you what ran through my mind when I got first asked. I actually didn't apply for the show. I was actually asked, I was referenced by a season 1 cast member. They said he'd be great on the show. You know, he's single. He's basically hopeless when it comes to love. They should reference him. So they referenced me and they reached out to me. And I think it was like 2 weeks before the house was actually, we were all going into the house. And at the time, I think that I was kind of like, I had gone through a breakup recently, and breakups for me are like they put me on the ground, and then I have to like refine myself for months after, because you know when you're codependent with somebody, you change your life to fit that person in, and then when you break up, you have to figure out how you are independently. And at that moment, I was dating someone really younger, and at that point I was like, okay, I'm done with young people. And I was at the point I was just like, okay, well, everything else that I'm doing in my life isn't working out, but there's some kind of destiny that's sending me towards this show. Like, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And I was doing the same thing, looking at the same bars, picking the same group of people that I thought were the same amount of attractiveness, had the same qualities going out. And that was definitely not working. So I was like, right now, I was like, I'm going to go into this house because it's something that I'm not comfortable with. It's something different than what I'm doing normally. And it's something that I would get to experience and like put me out of my comfort zone.
Okay, so and just to back up, let's be clear because you know there has been some chit chatter. You did come into the mansion single, correct?
I did. I did. The thing is, I had just gone through a relationship that went up and down, on and off, on and off. So at times, you know, chit chatters gonna say, okay, I had a boyfriend at this point. Well, I had a boyfriend on and off 4 or 5 times during this point. Like, it was one of those relationships, and I think we can all relate, where we want it to stop, it ends on one hand, and then it comes back, you end up sleeping together, and it's back together, or it's an I'm sorry, and it's back together, it's on and off. And when you don't have something solidified like that, you're just willing to take risk. You're willing to change up anything that you can to feel a little bit less involved in that situation.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see both sides. Like, it would be obviously a red flag if someone came into the production with a boyfriend, but then also, like, who hasn't had a back and forth toxic ass?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I contribute
Like,
a lot to that because I'm someone who like still hangs around with my exes after. And then, you know, we end up sleeping together because it's
yeah,
easy. And then we end up being like, oh, well, this sleeping together every day. And then we're like, oh, it's the same thing. So let's get back in it. And then let's
yeah.
break up 2 weeks later.
No, that's so relatable. I love the explanation to that. So backing up, so with people saying like that you're there for the influence, I literally have a whole thing about this because I think it's so funny. Like you and I are the two who kind of sparked that moment in the show where we were questioned if we were there for the right reasons based off of the way that we make money as creative.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
just want to
you.
say this. I just want to say this real quick. I'm not going to get into it too deep, but it's just like I'm getting to the point where I'm proud of how I did on the show and what I did and what I said. And it's very much like that is like I was there for love. Absolutely. You can see that in every effing scene that I'm in on the show. But what is wrong with being there for a little influence? Obviously, everyone signed up for a show. They know exactly what comes with it. We were all there for some type of visibility. So for that to even be a reason why you and I should leave or that we're not there for the right reasons, it was bull. So I just want to say that I'm like team you.
I also thought about this earlier today when I knew I was going to hop on this podcast, and I knew this was going to be one of the questions and one of the statements that got brought up. And what you're saying is correct. Is that like I have been, the whole show was put on me not being genuinely here, just being here for clout. And like you said, and like I said in the show, what I said on recording is like I'm here for multiple reasons, none being all the clout and none being like this and this and this. And it was to put, I'll just say, it's to put me out of my comfort zone. It was to gain a little visibility. It was to make general connections. It was to put me in a predicament where I wasn't in the same process of finding a man that I was used to. And it was for multiple reasons. I'm not someone who's like, oh, I'm just here for love, or I'm just here to play the game, or I'm just here to get clout. Like, at no point was it a bunch of reasons. But the thing is all of us were on that show, like you said, for multiple reasons. I guarantee nobody was like, the first thought was on their mind, man, I'm going to actually find true love. It was, I want to try to find true love. And I thought about this the whole time this morning, and I was like, well, when I get confronted with this, how am I going to say this? Because that's all people think I care about. And I realized, I was like, you know what? Because my job is centered around social media, clout, being on TV and stuff like that, and on the internet, that I knew people were going to come at me for it. And I expected it. So like, I mean, like, it's just I understood what was coming at me at the moment. And I knew that because my following, and I am successful in my job, in my opinion, that I would get saying, oh, he needs this as a boost. Oh, he needs this as this and this and this. And not to throw no shade towards anything or anybody. But I'm like, like I was real on the show. I'm not trying to be nice. I'm not trying to be fucking just like lick everyone's butts, like I'm being real. That's why I was a very dynamic person in this. I'm just lovey-dovey all the time. I'm the nicest person, Miss Congeniality. Like I was going through up and down emotions, whether it was anger, whether it was sadness, whether it was coming to terms with myself, because I am a very roller coaster of emotion person, and I'm not going to hide that to put on some miscongeniality look for everybody. Like if I'm angry, I'm going to be angry. I'm not going to try to do all this stuff. But when I did get approached about it, it was I knew it was alarming. It was whatever, but I come to terms with it. I wasn't there for clout. If I wanted to be there for clout, I probably would, no offense, pick networks and pick shows and stuff like that weren't startups.
We saw
and the fact is I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I've been working for 7 years on my brand, and my brand is a little bit higher up there. I think I'm a macro influencer, a micro influencer, but my brand's a little bit up there. And this show, I got offered to do a lot of shows. And this is one of the shows that I chose that I wanted to be a part of and support, because it was an LGBTQ network. It was an LGBTQ brand that was building itself up. And it was something that I felt like, as a part of my community, I wanted to be there for, rather than go with this huge network that's boosting, that could boost my following, or all of this stuff that could boost my following. I was generally there to be a part of this community and support this community as well.
Done. Period. Thank you for that.
There's just so many other options. Like if I wanted to boost clout, there's so many other options. I have a bachelor's degree in marketing. Like I know where marketing is at. And the fact is, I just wanted to be a part of something that was very LGBTQIA oriented, that was run by the LGBTQIA, and that supported sex workers too, because that's one of these huge arguments that we have in the world, whether or not sex work is right, glorified, over glorified. So I really wanted to be like a good figurehead for that.
Yeah. And you definitely were. You killed it.
Dramatic, but
no, it's perfect, because I had a long journey with that too, where I I know I came across as kind of with that cookie cutter edit. So now I love to take this time to let people know, like, hell yeah, I worked really hard on my YouTube channel. If I was there for a little bit more visibility with that, what is wrong with that if I was there for love and for that? So that's where I stand with it now. I like to let people know, like, him questioning that on the show, like, it's valid because some people just are there for that and they're not there for love. But I have no problem to honestly say I was there for both and proud of my
But
journey.
my question is, like, had I not been pinpointed for clout, what would I have been pinpointed for next?
There's always something. It's a TV show.
Always something.
Yeah, there
If
always
you look for a problem, you'll always find one.
there would have been something. So let's go to the moment where we're lining up with the daddies. I love to jump into like this alternate universe to like not talk about the scene, but talk about like what would you do. So say the daddies came out and you were told to pick two for a date that day, no blindfold. Which two are you going for? And think like, remember, you haven't met anyone yet. You don't know about anyone. Think like that day in your mind, what you would have did.
Honestly, if there was no blindfolds, I already know my answers. It would have easily been Sal and Kane.
A lot of
Kane
people
was,
have those answers. They end up picking who they ended up with. That's funny.
yeah, and you know, it's crazy because we're in this house. They're trying to make sure we're not like figuring out about any daddies or anything. Like they're shuffling us around the house. I I did have a little inkling that there was someone that was more active in the house
Mm.
because I'm going to be honest, and I'm pretty sure I can say this, that like I was allowed outside the house for like probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day to go
For a
for a
run,
run.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I knew that they were shuffling me back and forth with someone who's also very active.
Mhm.
Because they were like, okay, you can go to the front, let me shift this person, you can go to the back. And I was like, I think that when I did the initial like feel up and that I was like looking for someone who was more active that could fit in with my lifestyle because
Right.
I gym is like my hobby, you know?
Your soulmate. You're looking for your
Yeah, and
soulmate.
then also like Sal's a real daddy, girl. Like that's a daddy
I
boy.
know.
Like
I
if you
just
were a
had.
daddy, I'd like he may have been the oldest one there, but that's like but he was the retired one. He was the one who like even gave this like swagger of like I'm more mature. Like I would have definitely picked him as yeah, definitely my top two.
Yeah, I just had Sal on the channel and I told him like you were probably the most intimidating himbo to me at first, just because of like your success and being a model and all that. And then
Oh,
Sal for just being a daddy. And then it's so funny because you two at the end of the day ended up being like completely chill, completely like different than how I thought you would be when I met you guys that first day. First impressions of you both were so like I never thought that I'd be cool with you guys the way I am today. That first day, like I was like, oh, the cast is great, but those two, they're never gonna fuck with me. Like I remember
I
thinking,
know.
like,
It made it that's what made it so hard these days though. The eliminations, I was like, ah.
listen, I keep saying like when the friendship started, it got haywire. All right, so going to your iconic daddy hopping situation with Aaron, I know it's been beat on so many times, but I guess my question for you with this is just after watching the edit, having your relationship with Aaron, all these things, do you still stand by like the way you were in those scenes? Do you think that he should have been playing the field, like, or did you watch it back like, oh damn, I was going off for no reason, like I should have just let her have fun? Like, how did you feel? How do you feel now?
Okay, well, I will be honest. A lot of these episodes were very cringe to see how I was going to be portrayed because like I said, I didn't come in here to be Miss America. I didn't come on this show to be, oh my God, this is the image I'm painting for you. At the end of the day, we were all casted based upon, I'm pretty sure, the reason that we live very dramatic up and down lifestyles that would make good camera. I'm not emotionally stable. That's kind of obvious. When I watched the scene myself, it was very hard to watch it. I will be honest. I had to stop it multiple times. I called Aaron multiple times. So being like, have you seen it? Like, what am I in store for? I texted the boys, like, what's gonna go on in this? Like, has anyone seen it? And I had to stop it 3 or 4 times because my anxiety was just out of the roof.
People will
Would
never
I
understand
change?
watching back like what you lived. Like people will never. That
Oh
is
no, no, nobody ever
so
understands how
hard.
severe they can be until they've never been recorded and seen how they're acting.
Uh huh. It's
And
intense.
in the moment, I was generally, I think I was on edge. I was on edge. I think the emotions were 100% real. I think it was pretty valid. I think the whole situation with Aaron picking Kane's, and that really rubbed me wrong. That really got me aggravated. There was multiple things that happened. We're sitting out, and I think 98-degree heat. Like, I'm already sweating. I'm already on edge. We've been in this controlled environment where everything in our lives is controlled. How much you work out, and how much, what you eat, what you do when you sleep, and that also drive someone crazy, especially when you're sitting 6 deep in a room full of huge personalities. It gets stressful. Like, everything, the way you act on camera is completely different than you would in like real life, because the thing is like, you're put through these circumstances of, number one, every day we had to realize we're going to have to eliminate someone that we like. And that's stressful to have on us. That causes a stress build. Number two, every day we had to realize that we could be that person that's turned on. And I think that living under all of that stress and that pressure, you're going to crack. You're going to have moments. And I looked at this, and I was sitting with my friends, and I was like, I can't believe I just had a fit on national television. I had a hissy fit. I was like, no, no, no.
Listen, I have several. It's so hard to watch.
And I was like, my friends were like, oh, well, my friend just had a hissy fit on national television. And I was just like, well, your friend has hissy fits all the time. I did not like that Aaron did come after. It seemed like one daddy the whole time, which was mine, because he kept on saying, like, nobody's daddy, nobody's daddy. And like I said on the fight, you don't know what's happening between me and my dad. You don't know what's happening between me and Kane. Like, me and Kane have had conversations. Like, me and Kane at like the date and everything had really understood that, we didn't plan on switching it up. And I let Aaron know that on camera, and it didn't seem like it got through. It'd be different if he was like, okay, I'll pick Looters. Okay, I'll pick Kane. Okay, I'll do it. But it was just, I'll pick Kane. I'll pick Kane. I'll pick Kane. And I'm like, okay, I already told you this. Step on my toe again, step on my toe again. And I'm not somebody, I have a backbone. Like, I'm not somebody, once I tell you something that bothers me, you go in and just keep on doing it again, and then you expect just to rub me numb. Like,
so I have to get into you and Kane. And I guess the biggest question that I have for you, and that the world would want to know, like, is if you truly had feelings for him, or if you were just trying to coast and win a competition, which, again, in a perfect world, both are okay, right? We never want to hurt anybody, but if you're there to compete and you found something comfortable, why not coast it? But this is a juicy conversation, because fast forwarding to your elimination, some people know, some people don't, but I tried to keep you because I grew very close with Kane.
I knew that one.
I tried to keep you because we were so close. And here's the thing. I believe that you're a genuine good person. I did not believe that you guys were genuinely a good match, but I wanted you guys to have the time in the competition to grow. And I was hoping that if I gave you guys time and I kept you, that you would see what I see in Kane, because I was like, maybe he sees it, maybe he doesn't. But if I keep him, I think he can learn to see what I see in Kane. That mixed with the fact that I was very nostalgic, original cast, like, down. And so when Hazel came in, I was like, I'm not going
to. We were all very.
I was like, I'm not going to.
At the beginning, we were just like, we're family.
Yeah, I wanted you there for Kane, and I didn't want to vote to keep someone new there. But fast forward to getting to know Hazel. Obviously, my whole heart, I love her so much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, on that first day, I was like, no, like, I hardly know Nick, but that's OG cast. Like, and he's messing with my
OG cast.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's the tea on that. I was very close with Kane, and I wanted to see what you guys could become, even though I didn't fully believe in it while it was happening. How did you feel about him? Did you feel like you were coasting, or did you really feel something?
Well, I think a lot of people, when they saw us pair up, like even Kane himself said, I'm batting above my average, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think a lot of people switch to the clout idea, switch to this is not going to work out, switch to this is fake, was because it didn't make sense to anybody. It didn't make sense to them. It didn't make sense, like, and And I think it's like Kane said, it didn't make sense to him. And the reality of is, if I told you, anybody, to say, hey, go on this dating show, you had countless horrible relationships in your past, or countless relationships in your past that weren't horrible, but you've just gone through a bunch of them. And then they're going to say, okay, well, we picked out these 6 guys, and now you have to blindly pick one, and then you have to like fall in love with every aspect of them, and you have to genuinely connect in like 3 days. Like anybody with the same circumstance would be like, okay, you know, what do I do in this situation? And in this situation, I ended up picking Kane, and it ended up him being such a genuine and beautiful person that I took my time and got to know him. And I think that came off as ingenuine because I wasn't busting out in tears over happiness and our love. And I think it came out as just like not like a real thing because I wasn't so aggressively all over him. And that was what I've been seeing on podcasts and things, is like people were like, no, he's obviously playing him. Look at these tells and these tells. And I'm like, baby, if I was here for clout, if I was here to win a competition, don't you think, as somebody who's been teasing the internet, teasing people on OnlyFans, teasing people on the Twitter, I'm a big Instagram tease, like who's been putting out this persona, this very sexual persona, do you not think if I really wanted us to go all the way, I would do some blowjob in the elevator on camera, or I would make out intensely and look sexy as fuck. I know how to fake something. If I wanted to fake a connection, if I wanted to fake a connection with Kane that wasn't actually there, I would just jump on top of him and make a sexy moment, and then make people fall in love with the idea of something extremely hot. I know marketing. I know how to do this. But did I do that? No. It would have been the easy way out to get in a competition and make people believe that we were the real thing. But I took my time. I told him, I opened up to him what was comfortable with me, what made me upset. And over that period, me and Kane got super like basically we're at the point where we can really just have actual conversations that aren't about like, oh, what party is this? Oh, what gossip is this? It was like making a general connection with Kane. So I don't regret like going with Kane. It wasn't just for cameras. He was literally one of the most beautiful, genuine people you could tell. He didn't even make an Instagram until after the show premiered. You don't care about clout. You
And
don't
turned up
care
with a
about
1 million view reel between the two of you. Can I just say?
Yeah, well, that's mostly like that's
On
Kane
it.
just like being able to do his marketing like crazy.
Yeah.
But I think is like I never once like sat there and was like, let me be this fake version of myself to
Yeah.
make others like me on camera. Because obviously, if you look at me, I'm not. I came off as stupid sometimes. Like I came off as aggressively like hostile. I came off as like subtle. I came off as snappy and sassy. There was no one time that I played some character that wasn't authentically myself, emotionally unstable or whatever.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. And it's funny because before I came on, I was like, if I have to fake a romance and climb on someone and da 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 to get the scene or to further along, like I would. And I thank God that I truly got lucky in finding something genuine because
It's so crazy because I was the
my
exact
scenes may look
opposite.
extra and fake, but that's how I am when I'm in love. I will claw you, I'm climbing on top of you. And I really just, I'm so glad that people got to see the realness in that. But I want to know, like, if you like, so say you came back and you were on like an All Stars or like another season, I wouldn't, because I was talking to Sal about this, and he was like, he's told me he would come back under the conditions that like his type was actually there. And I feel like that is like how I feel for you too. Like, I would like to see you return, but then actually, like, what is Nick like when you match on someone day one and you do fall in without being hesitant and nervous and trying to grow? Like, what I want to kind of see you go ahead in with someone that you like are really, really like into. I think that would be interesting TV.
And I think what this season to me was really about, I realized when I didn't see my direct type, um, was that I think it was more about just learning who people were,
Yeah.
and then learning, and it was even with the himbos too. It's like, and I'm going to be honest with you, like if I told you that I would hang out with these people randomly if I bumped into them at a bar, like himbos and daddies alike? Would I be interested in these people? Would I give them people the time of day? Probably not. I'm very closed off when it comes to my friends and very closed off when it comes to my love relationships. I keep everything, I keep myself at a distance kind of until it's just something I've learned to do as living in LA is that like I used to like, I came here from Florida and I used to have my walls completely down. And I realized that a lot of people are here for the wrong reasons. And so over time of getting screwed over friendship wise and relationship wise, I kind of put my walls up, and I kind of block out a lot of people from my life that I wish I don't. And having this opportunity to come in this house and say, like, I would have never met you. You live around here and we don't have the same interests in here. And you guys may not, like, the guys may not be exactly what I look for, like, in my relationship life. It gave me that opportunity to, again, once saying in your head, you're trying something new.
Yes.
Close down those barriers and don't hold everyone to the expectations of everybody else in your life who has screwed you over, because they're not everybody else. Yeah. And by doing this and not judging people based on looks and not judging people based on, you know, whatever they do in their lives, it really gave me a moment to really appreciate everyone more than I would have ever given anyone the time of day, because I was put in there and then I'm like, okay, well, these are great people to be around. And I would have never known that because I sometimes get in my own head of protecting myself, that I just block out people like that I deem like might hurt me. And when I walked into this house, I was like, this is going to be a competition. Remember that, because you might end up getting screwed over at the end. And not saying that I got screwed over, but it kind of turned out how I thought it might. And that kind of way of thinking about, hey, you're making general connections with individuals, not these are your connections with the daddies, these are connections with the himbos, not as a group, but making those individual friendships
as people
made me really protect myself for that elimination. I came out of it not really angry, as you saw in my speech at the end. I came out of it as, you know what, these people may have not liked me on the show, and at the end of the day, it's a competition, but you know what, I made general connections and I made general friends after this.
Yeah, no. And I think you did a beautiful job with that. And I can attest to it. Like I said, day one impressions of you, never would have thought, like, when obviously the people watching this don't know, but like when I came to LA for the premiere, Nick was nothing but like open arms, hospitality. Like, you took care of us at beaches. You were checking in with us. Like, you're a good friend. And I was like, you know what? Like, he may have this type of edit. He may be like an LA guy, but I saw your heart at so many different moments, not only watching the show, but in real life, as I've seen you at the premiere and stuff. So,
well, I generally tried to do that in the house as well.
Yeah.
I wanted to be, you know, as you know, I wanted to kind of be Mother Bear. I wanted to bring West Hollywood to the house.
And we appreciate you because, again, like, I would have expected that from one of my castmates, but I don't think you were the castmate I expected that from. So you blew me out of the water with that. I appreciate your friendship and you showing me the city when I'm there and letting us go crazy in beaches like that. But before we wrap up, what can everyone expect from you? What's next? Where can they follow you? You have already accomplished so many dreams. One of my favorite parts of doing this experience was coming home and like following you guys and seeing how iconic and amazing you all are. And you have already done so much. I've seen so many of what you've done on your grid, and it's so inspiring. I can only imagine, like, what is next for you? Like, do you even have any other big dreams left? Like, what is next?
I think honestly, number one, I think if I've learned anything from the show, my recent life, is that I have always made love my number one job. That's why when people say, hey, you know, you came here to, you know, boost your career or focus on your career, and you know what, if love is always my number one job, then maybe I was on it to boost my career.
I love that line that you say at the end. That was my favorite yours.
and what's next for me in dating wise, this is the first time I've ever said this. All my friends after I end a relationship says, oh, you know, like, take a break, work on yourself, you know, and I'm always like, no, they need to work on themselves. Like, I want to be in a relationship. I'm ready. And I think this is the first time coming off the show that it really made me analyze and realize, you know what, I may be ready for a relationship, but you know what? I think that, like, it takes a special type of person to be ready for me in a relationship. So I think I'm gonna finally take a break from dating, just kind of enjoy my single life. I've never really done that. And when it comes to projects in the future, you know, honestly, I've built my brand off of my life. I am my brand. I market myself. You're right. I So every time I think of what's coming next, I think of honestly some of my major goals in life, and that's really to really take hold of life while I'm young. I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling this year. I want to go a lot of abroad. The thing is like I enjoy experiencing some of the craziest things in life and putting myself in situations like this show
Yes.
in order so that other people can see that. Because that's why I made an Instagram originally. I was living in Pensacola, Florida, and I looked at people's Instagrams from LA and from the different countries, and I was always like, oh my God, that life looks so crazy and beautiful. And I was able to live through their Instagrams and experience a little taste of that. And that's what I really use my social media for, is I want to do the things that make people say, hey, I can do that if I work hard. And that's kind of like what I'm at. Is my next step is always doing something that is going to make me wake up with a smile the next day, and that I can share with others so they can experience just a taste of that.
I love it. And when I tell you, I will be seated, Instagram posts, Instagram stories, I am there. I can't wait to see what you do next. Guys, I will have all of Nick's links to all of his businesses and social media profiles in the description box of this video down below. Thank you so much for coming on and getting all into all the DILF tea. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much, Nick.
Hey, bye guys. Thank you.
Later.